Hey there, it's Jimmy with Fancy Schmancy Wino.
And James, together again.
Yay! We're here to drink wine, as usual. But tonight, it's a different wine than normal. And that's because it's not cheap.
Yeah, we were, so if you watched the last couple weeks, you know we were touring some Washington wineries, had a great time. Tonight, having dinner just probably like you guys, and looking through the wine rack and picked one that, well, I'm visiting, so of course I picked the most expensive one I could find. And thought we should probably share our experience with you guys.
So tonight, we had some Rasa Vineyards Tilting at Windmills. Now, before I get into the wine too much about it, I got to say about Rasa Vineyards. Two brothers that were in the tech industry, computer guys, for a couple decades it sounds like. One from MIT and another one from
Stevens Institute of Technology.
Stevens Institute. So clearly two really dumb guys who weren't making it in life. Decided that they'd get into the wine business.
Yeah, I mean, I think one has a master's degree from MIT, and the other one from Stanford, and I mean these are a different league of folks making wine.
And it's kind of fun. So this is the 2014 Tilting at Windmills, but all of their wines are named after some sort of math reference, most of which I didn't get because I was a liberal arts student and not
Didn't go to MIT.
I did not go to MIT. I can barely spell MIT. But it's kind of fun that they do that. But they have a very, as you would expect, very scientific approach to wine making. And I learned about that when I went and visited with my wife their winery in Walla Walla, Washington, not so long ago. They do wine tastings there, but it is appointment only. So if you want to feel fancy, make yourself an appointment, go sit down, and they will walk you through all of their wines. It was quite an experience. And yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned in, I think, the last video about the experience of going to a vineyard, and particularly one where Jimmy and Kim are sitting down with one person walking them through the story, as opposed to just the grocery store or even a tasting. Which I mean, I love the vineyards we've been to so far. It's been a lot of fun. But there's 10 or 20 of you standing around. This is a little bit different. But being there in the vineyard, I mean, tell me about what brought you to spend $80 on a bottle.
Well, it's first of all, the experience of doing a private tasting is a lot more fun because you get a lot more detail and you don't feel like you're interrupting to ask any questions because you're the only one there. In fact, you almost feel I don't want to say feel pressure to ask questions, but I certainly did. And I was glad. They really do. It's a guided walk through their wines, which you kind of get when you do a normal tasting, but it was just on its own.
Yeah, we've been so focused on value that we kind of thought about value as a different meaning than just cheap.
Yeah.
And so in this case, we're talking about I didn't invest in the vineyard because we bought a bottle of wine, but really, there's no economy of scale. They're not making thousands upon thousands of casings. You've got farm workers picking these things by hand, a couple of guys designing the taste, and so yeah, expensive, but we thought we'd want to bring out the experience that when you're at the vineyard, it's never quite the same anywhere else.
Yeah. I've left there having bought, I mean, that's, we're talking 4 times the price I normally spend on a bottle of wine. I mean, typically what we've been...
8 times if he's honest.
Yeah. I didn't feel bad about that. I felt like I got a fine deal. And that says a lot for the experience. So good job to Rasa Vineyards.
Yeah, and so we didn't get a chance to visit there. I mean, we only made it as far as Prosser. I think we're about halfway to Walla Walla. Maybe in some other future episodes, Jimmy and Kim will walk you through some more tastings from the vineyards out there. The advantage of living in the state that produces the second greatest amount of wine in the U.S. And I mean, their labels. I mean, 14 Hands, Chateau Ste. Michelle, Columbia Crest. I mean, these are top brands. But there's all these guys out here and gals. We met some gal winemakers. Not trying to be sexist, but these folks and these families that are producing, in some cases, Martinez and Martinez. We're talking about like 200 cases.
A few hundred cases, yeah.
And so, what an experience to kind of. And you didn't meet these folks, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. But I mean, the employees, and there's not that many of them. And
no, I got the impression I got is that it's a pretty small crew.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like you were part of their family for the day.
It was. I was really happy with it.
And so, what's in this wine?
Well, I was just looking at this, and I remember it is kind of an odd blend. I don't want to say odd. It's perfectly normal, but it's an interesting blend. It is 59% Grenache, 20%. No, excuse me, 29%. I'm wearing glasses and I still can't read it. That's not a good sign. 29% Cabernet Sauvignon, 12% Syrah.
Yeah, I think some of the folks watching this probably have had some Grenache. It's a good Italian wine, Grenache or Garnacha or maybe even Cananao, any of those names. I've seen some blended with Cab, but the Syrah, I think the Syrah is probably adding the color. But
yeah, I don't think I've ever had a Syrah in a Grenache. So, anyway, we should smell it.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I mean, this is dark. I mean, we talked before, maybe bordering on inky.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, talk about
it's not. It's like that Apothic black. Was that black? Ultimate black?
The Gnarly Head Ultimate.
Gnarly Head, authentic black.
Yeah, authentic black.
Apparently, I'm going senile. It's not that dark, but it is a deep dark purple.
Yeah, I mean, you're not look. I mean, hold that up to the light. You're not looking through it.
So, there's that.
Dark purple. So, get in there, and sniff it.
Yeah. Nice. Lots of fruit. Lots of black fruit.
Yeah, maybe you're getting a little bit of the effects of the oak.
Yeah, it's light though. It's not as I don't know. I don't know if it's just because of the color. It's not as oaky as I've had.
No, they've done a good job of it as far as the fruit forward smell that makes you want to drink it. We've said before, and other people said before, when you over oak something, you start losing the actual grape.
Yeah, I'd say it's not. It's very definitely pretty. I wouldn't say it smells punchy. I don't know if that's even a smell. Usually, I would think of that as a taste descriptor, but nonetheless.
No, yeah, we had one the other night, Blank Pines. That was punchy. That was just way too much fruit going on. This is just a strong black cherry maybe.
Yeah.
Nah.
I don't get any cherry.
No, blackberry.
I get blackberry.
Should we taste it?
We should taste it. Cheers. That is a fruit-forward wine right there.
Yeah, I mean right away, but there's some other neat things going on.
Yeah. I love the mouthfeel on this.
It's a big wine.
Really rich and big and rich. That's a country band, I think. That's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, no. If we keep going on, and I mean, as you can see that between Jimmy and his wife, they pretty much finished this bottle. I got a little bit tonight, but maybe some spice on here too.
Yeah, it's the Syrah. You definitely pick the Syrah up on the spice because I've never had a Grenache with that kind of spice on it. So I'm assuming that's where the spice comes into play.
And I said I can smell a little bit of the oak. It's the slightest bit vanilla, but it's a creamy. There's a creaminess to it.
It's good. Yeah, I dig.
It makes it. I don't want to say velvety. It just seems kind of creepy to say velvet wine, but certainly creamy.
And it kind of like if you've ever had, like you haven't had, but kind of a mouth coating feeling with wine that has almost like an oily texture, but not that far. Not that it's not oil, but definitely a heavier feel in the mouth. I like that.
No, and starting to talk about food, I mean, you think about what this would go with, and I think certainly, I think it's probably big enough for a steak.
Oh yeah.
We decided to have it with tacos. Now we can give you the rundown of what you probably should have had with tacos, but we were pretty committed to this wine.
Yeah, I don't know that was probably the best pairing in the whole world, but it turns out if you have tacos are good, and if you have good wine, that's good. Mix them together. There's no reason why it shouldn't be good.
No, I mean. We've read it, you've read it, there's other pairings that are maybe the ideal as far as getting something to counteract with each other, but the reality was, we know we're going to enjoy tacos, and just wanted to enjoy a great wine.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. The tacos were the co-star, no doubt.
Yeah, the co-star.
Yeah.
Starring wine, co-star, taco.
Yeah, there were three of us at dinner. One of us thought we were having tacos with wine. The other two of us thought we were having wine with some tacos to keep them going down.
Yeah.
So, we talked about the grades. What are you thinking?
I like this, and I know that you're supposed to grade a wine based on taste, and price should have nothing to do with it, but that is not how we do things here. Well, at least not how I do all the time. I would say that this is an A wine.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, I mean, we just talked about how great those guys at Rasa are, and one of the two of us shelled out $80, and so I'd have to be pretty ticked off to say something less than an A. It's a great wine. I would feel good serving this to friends or having an event, although very few of my friends are going to get me to serve them an $80 bottle of wine.
No, unless we're tacos.
You know, we're related, and he tried to charge me for dinner. So just so we're clear how that works. No, I can go with an A for this.
Yeah, I'm saying an A. Not as complex as I was expecting, and I don't know if that's just because know if that's just me tonight, but it's not. It doesn't have quite the complexity as I remember tasting when I'm at the vineyard. But I think that might have had something to do with being kind of new to wine and having somebody who was not new to wine walking me through it. So I was kind of getting pulled along and knew exactly what I was tasting without somebody there guiding me on it. I don't know that I could pick it out as much, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and they've said, I mean, books, magazines, people, it's never as good as at the winery, and that's okay. That's the experience. Yeah. That's the fun.
I'm all right with that.
That's the reality is, at this point in time, no matter where you live in this country, there's a winery within a few hours of you, and so I think when we drank this wine tonight, we knew we couldn't necessarily recommend that you'd all go out and try it. Hopefully, we have some Washington fans and friends that will see this. Yeah. But maybe the bigger takeaway is, go get some wine from a local winery. I mean, in this day and age where so much service is going on, there's a chance for you to invest in somebody's business, be a part of the experience, and just enjoy it.
Yeah, and remember that drinking wine is supposed to be fun and is not about money. And I point that out because you can get a cheaper wine, but you can always get a cheaper wine. That's not what it's about. And your economies of scale and whatnot, you're not always going to get the best buy if you buy a wine from a smaller winery. But that doesn't mean that doesn't have value. It's definitely got value. I feel pretty comfortable with what I paid for this. Yeah,
it's again, you're part of an experience and part of a family. And I don't think I want to see the wine business just be the $2 Chucks and just be the Gallo family. And again, we've had some $2 Chuck. There's some good qualities there. Some Gallos has some great wines. The point is, we want all these individual vineyards. So we've had some fun this month visiting some vineyards. Probably we've had more fun than you've had just watching them. But we're coming up on the Thanksgiving season, and I'm pretty excited that over the next few weeks we're going to walk you through some meal pairings and the traditional Thanksgiving ingredients. Hopefully we can find some unique ways to approach those. I know Jimmy's got some great ideas, and he's got some ideas. And he's going to pair some foods that...
we're going to put more thought into the pairing than we did tonight.
And
we'll say that much.
And later this month, we're excited. Ruth's Chris out of Indiana is going to participate in helping make some suggestions about how you pick a wine for Thanksgiving. Not that what we come up with and what he comes up with won't matter, but maybe an expert, a sommelier, will be fun to have with us.
I'm going to take a stab at saying Ruth's Chris is not going to recommend Cheeto fries from Burger King.
No, and I just have a strange suspicion whatever meals he picks are not the things we're going to talk about with Ruth's Chris, but we're excited to have them as a part of this. And again, thanks for watching. I'm James.
I'm Jimmy.
Fancy Schmancy Wino.
Cheers.
Cheers.